Hey guys, welcome to the top 5 metal albums for the month of April according to yours truly. Now on this list, the main criteria is that albums that I've reviewed on the channel are the only ones that I will include in my top 5 list for the month. So if an album wasn't reviewed, it's not going to make the list. I'm also going to go through the albums by chronological order of release. This will make things easier, at least easier for me. That way I don't have to put them in any kind of order. I want to start off with The Lion's Daughter, Skin Show, out April 9th on Season of Mist. This is the band's 4th album and they're a synth-driven dark metal band. Now they started off more as a sludge metal band, and over time and over the years they've kind of morphed their sound, and finally they landed on this synth-driven horror dark metal sound that I absolutely love. Coming into this album, I was expecting the album to be synth-driven, but to push a little bit towards a different arena, more pop or more light, more 80s if you will, and it went in a complete opposite way. This is a very dark sounding album, not just from the sound that it has, but the atmosphere that it creates, and the synthesizers play an incredible role in delivering that darkness to the overall presence of the album. You feel like you're listening to a Hitchcock movie, if that's even possible, but that's the vibe that you're going to get out of this record. Absolutely wonderful album in terms of how it was created, how it was executed, the fluidity that it has, how the songs intertwine with one another, and how it never really loses the path that it has from the first all the way to the last song. I just love how the album sounds, I love how the album feels. Most importantly, I love the different aspects that the synthesizer give to this record that I haven't really heard on any other album up until now. Next on the list, While She Sleeps, Sleep Society, out April 16th on Spine Farm Records. This is the band's 5th album. They're a metalcore band, and this is their best record to date. At least the one where I felt that it had more of a mature sound, a mature approach. I really think they finally understand exactly where they're going, what do they want, and how to deliver it to the fans. They showed glimpses in the 2 previous records, but I felt that everything was fine-tuned, and this album really shows a more mature side of the band. A side of the band that doesn't just have metalcore influences, it has a little bit of everything. Everything that they listen to as individuals is really present on this album. I don't feel like they put any boundaries whatsoever on their music or their creativity, which allows the album to expand a little bit more, contract at times, depending on where it's going, depending on where the tracks are heading. But overall, this is a very fluid album, very well interconnected. It really works well as a whole, but it also has the strength of the individuality of the songs in it. So it works on both sense. It works from an individual song basis, and then it works as a full-length record. Like I said, the best album that While She Sleeps has released to date. Next we have Bewitcher, Cursed Be Thy Kingdom, out April 16th on Century Media.
Reflect the coming fires.
This is the band's third album. They're a black speed metal band, and this is an incredible record. I felt like they took the album a little bit more towards a defined path. Up until now, they tried different things, they tried different looks, but there was no real consistency within the record itself in terms of staying grounded or staying more within one perspective of what they wanted out of their sound. I felt like that happened on this album. So I also feel like this is their best record to date. At least it shows that they're finally coming to grips with who they are, what they are all about, and what their sound can give to the fans. This album really fills in all the blanks. There's absolutely no gaps within it. It's an album that flows really well. It has great mechanisms, really well interconnected from song to song, gives you ups, gives you downs, and it's an album that has two speeds, fast and faster. Sure, there's a few songs where perhaps the brakes get pumped ever so slightly, but the essence that you get out of this record is one of speed. It's impossible to walk away from this album and feel like there was a song that moved really slow, even though there are some songs that don't have that same intent, that don't have that same power. But overall, this is a black and rock and roll driven speed fest of an album. Like I said, it has two speeds, fast and faster. I just absolutely love this record. It has great choruses, really hooky, really catchy at times, incredible guitar work. The drums sound phenomenal. The bass really helps the drums to create a foundation for the overall album. So it's a record that really doesn't offer a lot of gaps, that doesn't have a lot of holes in it, and because of that, it went into the top 5 of my list for the month of April. Next we have Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined, out April 16th on Metal Blade Records. This is the band's 15th album. 15th album. They are a death metal colossus. They're not just a band. They're an iconic band. They're a colossus of death metal. This is one of their biggest albums, at least from sound perspective, to date. I'm not going to go as far as to say that this is their best album to date, but it's definitely in the top 5 that they've ever released. It's just very complete. It's robust in the sound that it has. It's robust in the way it was recorded. It's robust in the way that it's structured. It just gives you a different look with every single song. It's one of those records that if you play a track, you know exactly what that track is. It's not muddied in the overall big picture of the album. But at the same time, it's a record that's not disconnected from track to track, because you could feel like you're listening to a Cannibal Corpse album. You can feel like you're listening to this record. There's specific characteristics in the soundscape, in the structure, in the delivery of the songs that makes the album unique, that makes the album its own. So when you're listening to a track, not only you can identify the song, you can identify the album that it comes out of. And to me, when you have a record, specifically within death metal, that has these characteristics, it's the winning formula. You have a winning album on your hands. Last but not least, we have Vreid with Wild Northwest, out April 30th on Season of Mist. This is the band's 9th album, and they're a melodic black metal band. This is a concept record. A concept record that's not just present in the lyrics, that's just not present in the sound, that doesn't just show up in the overall structure. I felt like this is a concept that just permeates across every single element of the record. There's not one single thing on this album, regardless of what it is, regardless of structure, sound, soundscape, atmosphere, everything on this album pushes you towards the concept, towards the idea that they had. And this is an idea that's not easy to execute across all these different elements, but I felt like they were able to achieve their vision. Because sometimes you have a vision for an album, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to get to where you want to go with it. You could fall a little bit short of that goal. On this album, I felt like they didn't do that. They actually deliver across all the different platforms. They're even delivering it in the visual sense, because there's a movie surrounding the release of this album that takes you from song to song and allows you to capture not just the essence of the music, but the essence of the visual side of things, and combine the two for a more elaborate delivery as far as the overall concept of the record and the concept that surrounds this release is concerned. I just love this album across all fronts. I watched the movie first, then I dove into the record, but I don't think it matters. You can listen to the album, then watch the movie, or you can just enjoy one or enjoy the other. I don't think you lose anything by just going one way or another. You obviously can gain by merging both together, and that, I think, it's the best way for you to get the full idea, the full big picture of what this concept, of what their vision was when they start to work on this album. I love this record. I just think it's outstanding. It's one of those outstanding albums of the year type record that's going to be in a lot of people's discussions come the end of the year, come your top 10, your top 25, whatever it is that you make at the end of the calendar year as far as best records are concerned. This is it, guys. This is my top 5 albums for the month of April. Let me know what your top 5 are. Use the comment section below. Hit me up. Let me know that I missed something. I'm sure I did. I want to hear what your top 5 picks are. Take care, guys.